Hey, what's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and it's a new month, which of course means time for new Hank of the Month Club Hanks from Gondek EDC. We're looking at October 2023 subscription today, and we're going to look at both the standard and XL Hanks. Now, if you're not familiar with the subscription, it's exactly what it sounds like. They send you unique Hank designs for the month that they don't ever repeat or sell in their shop, so the subscription is really the only way to get these designs. Now, there's two different tiers to it. I get both of them, so that's what we're going to look at today, both of those. But the standard OG subscription's $10 a month, gets you a 7" by 7" Hank, which I think is a really good EDC size, nice kind of medium size Hank, not too big, not too small. But if that is too small for you, the XL gets you an 11" by 11" Hank. And they're separate designs. A lot of times they follow a similar theme, but separate designs. You're not going to get a repeat if you subscribe to both of these. And so, might not sound like a huge difference, 7" by 7" to 11 by 11, but it ends up being pretty significant when you see them side by side. The XL is definitely much larger and warrants that XL name. So with that said, we're looking at October, so you might be able to guess the theme of these Hanks. We'll look at the Hank first, and then I'll read through that letter. So up first we have the standard, again this is that 7" by 7, and we have a Ouija board design. Really excellent design. I believe this is a custom design where they took elements from different spirit boards and put it onto here. And so for me, I'd actually consider this an extension of their board game series. I'm not sure if you would, or if you consider this completely separate, or if they even consider it a board game, but they have some really great Hanks centered around board games that have come in the Hank of the Month Club, and so this one's definitely a winner for me. Really like the design on it. I think a lot of really great elements here. The only thing that might put it over the top, and I might have to reach out to him about this, is maybe a Hank planchette of some sort, and that would be super cool. Obviously not something they make, but first thing that really came to mind when we saw this Hank. And so really excellent design in my opinion. I'm just going to put it kind of front and center on the camera while I read through the letter. And so the standard says, "Dear Hank of the Month Club member, 46th month of the club, and my favorite Hank of the Month of the year." And this is Lauren writing both the letters this time around. "Total horror fanatic? Max, not so much, haha. Even our twins were almost born on Halloween, so I'm convinced it's in my blood. So I spend a lot of time designing the Hanks for this month. As you can obviously tell, this month's design is the iconic Ouija board. I used to spend hours playing this with my friends as a kid. Seriously, I was probably 10 and contacting the other side. I've always been so intrigued by the spirit world, ghosts, etc. And the thought the board would make an epic Hank of the Month Club for October, and thought. It's one of my favorites today. I used several versions of the game and vintage backgrounds to make this board unique for the club, and I hope you guys love it like I do. Fun fact, did you know that the name is taken from the word spelled out on the board when its inventor asked a supposed ghost to name it? As always, really hope you guys enjoy this month's Hank of the Month as much as we do. Again, thank you so much for being a member of our club. Happy hanking. Thanks, Max and Lauren Gondek." So, nice little fun fact there. I didn't know that, but I'm definitely interested in this kind of stuff as well. Just spooky stuff in general, I think, is a really fun theme. And really like that, obviously October is Halloween, but this is a design that you can use year round. It's not, specific to Halloween. It doesn't say Happy Halloween and have pumpkins all over it, which would have been fine as well, but I do like when you can continue using them year round, and so it has that overall vibe, but doesn't scream Halloween, so I can use this in December and it doesn't look out of place. So definitely appreciate that about it. Now getting into the XL Hank, and for the most part they've stuck with similar theming for the standard and XL. There has been one exception, and they have mentioned that there will probably be exceptions in the future, but a lot of times they'll follow that same theme. So let's take a look at this one before we get into the letter. And this one is themed by Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. And so it has a bit of it. It's obviously not the entire poem, but I'm not going to read through the poem itself. A lot of us are familiar with this, and for me, it's a poem I haven't read in a very long time, to be honest, and I always think of it pretty fondly. I always remember enjoying this poem, and so it's got kind of a dark, moody, obviously Halloween vibe, also not super Halloween themed, but has that similar just kind of mood to it. And so you can see the colors of these are pretty similar, and as I alluded to, significant difference. If we're looking at just square inches, I believe the 7x7, that's going to make it 49 square inches versus 121 square inches on that 11x11. So it does end up being a decent bit more real estate of that microfiber if you need it. And so really cool, they put excerpts from the poem on there. And let's take a look at the letter, or at least listen to the letter, since I'm not going to put it on screen. But dear Hank the Month Club member, it's the 5th month of the XL Hank the Month Club, and hands down, my favorite one yet, my being Lauren again. Spooky season runs in my blood, and I live for this time of year, so it's no surprise that I spend a lot of time making sure the October Hank is epic. I'm a huge Edgar Allan Poe fan, and even if you aren't, chances are you're familiar with the Raven. I've always wanted to incorporate his style and his work in one of our Hanks, and now that we're offering the larger size, I knew an excerpt from the poem would be incredible. If you've not read it for yourself or seen the movie adaptation, I highly recommend it. Did you know that the Raven was originally going to be a parrot? Poe wanted the bird in the story to be a non-reasoning creature with the ability to speak, but settled on a raven as it fit the tone of the poem better. Also, the Raven is the only poem with a sports team named after it, the Baltimore Ravens. The name was chosen in a fan contest to honor the late poet as he died in Baltimore. Hank, while simple, really makes a statement, and I hope you love carrying it with you. Thank you for being a member of our club and supporting our business. You guys are the best. Happy hanking. Thanks, Max and Lauren Gondek. And so, another interesting tidbit that I didn't know, when I first read that it's the only one with a sports team named after, I'm like, that can't be right. I'm sure there's poems named after plenty of animals, and there's plenty of animals in sports teams, but it turns out that it was literally named after the Raven because of Edgar Allan Poe. So really extra bit of information. Always appreciate those kind of fun tidbits. Adds a little bit more character to the Hank you're receiving. And really excellent. I like how they're kind of vintagey looking and not too overdone. They kept it very simple, and it makes the designs really pop out for me. And so really like that about both these Hanks, and really happy with the selection for October. Kind of the same thing with this one that I mentioned with the first one, is that not really super Halloween themed, meaning that you can use it year round, and I always appreciate that as well. So let me know what you think of these Hanks down in the comments below. Which one was your favorite? Anything else you'd like to comment? But hope you enjoyed this. If you did, would love if you'd consider liking, subscribing, hitting the notification button. All help out the channel a ton, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.